What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video.
I rep the West to the death, but my life is better. I've shed blood, shed tears, man, I stormed bad weather. I caught an L at 19, that's a cold-ass letter. But now I'm back in the world and trying to make it better forever. They counted me out at a young age, but now I'm living proof. I'm in this booth, I'm spitting truth, you see me on the tube. The Dove Show, homies bounce and roll. The Dove Show.
Before I get into the video, I want to make sure that I shout out the subscribers last night who donated on the live. Vario Liquors, JTB, Samantha Lynn, Constitutionalist News Network IRL, Gary Rodriguez, that Gen X dude, Esteban Madrid. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you and your support. Now, today's video is going to be something maybe out of left field, but in all actuality, the topic is out of left field. You see the thumbnail, you see the title. I didn't start doing time or meet any Hoovers until I hit YA. I remember right here in Santa Barbara, after the movie Colors came out, there were some of the blacks. After the movie Colors came out, that said they were from Hoover or East Coast. Dudes grew up with us in Santa Barbara. They never went nowhere near those areas. They were just trying to claim some stuff. So it wasn't until I hit YA. And I've told this story before. I went in a classroom right there in SRCC, the Southern Reception Center. And I saw a black dude sitting there. And on one forearm, it had CK. And the other forearm, it said BK. And I remember asking one of the homies from LA, I said, "Hey, Holmes, where's that vato from? He's got CKBK. He said, "Man, that's Boxer from Five Deuce Hoover." He said, "Them Hoovers, they have more Crip enemies than blood enemies." And which, back then, there weren't that many bloods. To be a blood, you actually had to be down as fuck. That's a whole nother story. But that was my first understanding of Hoovers. It was Hoovers against the world, right? And throughout YA, the Hoovers just seemed different, man. They I don't know what it was about them, but to me it was obvious when it was a Hoover, right? And so, I went from YA, I went to the joint. And I remember, even in, when I was, in different spots, if I had a leadership position, and when I would have to talk to the blacks about an issue, I'll never forget, to talk to the Crips, I would have to talk to a bunch of different people, and I hated it. The more people that are in on something, the more people that are given a message, the more likelihood the message gets where you don't want it to get, right? But I remember I would talk to the Crips, I would have to talk to like 4 or 5 dudes, it seemed like. Even with the Bloods, based off of ego, sometimes I had to talk to 2 different dudes. And I remember the easiest one to talk to was the dude from Hoover. Like, "Hey, Holmes, can I holler at you? Hey, what's up? Hey, no problem. All right now." It was always simple. But the other groups sometimes, well, what about this and what about that? And it was like, damn, Holmes, But I remember it was them dudes, bottom line is they were always different in my eyes, in my experience, right? And I remember when Milk came out and he started doing his channel. And, at first he was a little bit controversial. And then he found his lane. He started killing it. And then he made the bad decision to get on No Jumper, and that hurt him. And I think there were some other things that transpired, which is his business, right? But now we have an OG from Hoover. He got on No Jumper. You see the common denominator? Milk was killing the game. He went on No Jumper. It took a major hit. Now this other OG, I don't know him. He's my age. I'm a year older than him, actually. His name is Gumby. He has now gotten into social media. And so because he is on social media, I'm mentioning his name. I don't know the dude. I don't believe I ever was on a yard with him or anything. But Gumby goes on No Jumper. And Gumby had an agenda. Whatever that agenda was. You know, a lot of people from the outside are saying, you know, he wanted to extort and he wanted to do this. I don't know. Only he knows what his agenda was. I don't watch No Jumper. I get my No Jumper news from Compton Rick Rock. Seriously. I watch his channel. That way I don't have to watch the whole stuff. I'm good, right? But the common denominator, No Jumper, once again. Now, Gumby goes over there. He says what he says. Boom. Then Wack calls in on a live. And Wack puts some stuff out. Horrendous stuff. And he's trying to back up Adam, right? That's a whole nother clusterfuck in itself, right? But then you have Gumby calling it. It's just this whole weird thing. But in the midst of it all, Gumby says that Milk is not from Hoover. And I'm like, whoa. You know when the street vendor things were going on? Everybody tipped their hat. All the raza they tipped their hat to the Hoovers, because when they found out that their little homies had robbed the vendor, they DP'd their little homies, and it was put online for everybody to see. So I'm telling you, they're different. But to see this, to see the Hoovers now airing out laundry on social media, it's kind of like one of those things, because look, Southerners do it. I would have never, ever thought that Southerners would engage in that type of stuff online. Not only do they do it, but they do it probably more than everybody. So you have Southerners doing it. You have Northerners slightly doing it. You have Crips doing it. You have Bloods doing it. But now the Hoovers. So now everybody in California is encompassed in it all. Everybody's caught up in it. But something that has stood out to me in the midst of all this, you remember when Whack 100 got into it with Homeboy from Tres, right? And when Whack talked about it later, after the whole Chili Mac and Chili Con Carne and all that comment that they were making, you know, Whack came with something, and he said the reason why he will never work, he will never want to manage a Southsider, is because they come with baggage, right? I don't want to say exactly what he said, but he said, you let one of them in the door, a lot of other stuff comes with it, right? And so a lot of people, you know, were kind of like, you know, that he ain't lying, you know, you do that, you know, woo, woo, woo. But I'm listening to what people are saying Gumby's intentions were when he went to No Jumper. And I hear Whack talking about extortion. So how is it different? You know, it seems as though because Milk is successful and minding his own business, that's why all of a sudden he ain't a Hoover in one person's eyes. I don't speak for Hoovers. I don't think there is one person that could. I don't think people outside of California may not even understand how deep Hoover is. I remember being in YA and the joint. Hoover's in East Coast. It was ridiculous how deep they were. But anyways, I just wanted to do this video and put my 2 cents in there that everyone needs to be very leery when putting your business out there on the social media. If you know, Gumby is saying he's still in the streets. At 50 years old, he's still in the streets. Hey, that's his prerogative. You got to understand, the feds are watching. That's why when people leave me comments that they think they're threatening me in the comments, I immediately delete them. If I see them, I delete them. I don't need the motherfucking cops. Like, believe me, anybody that's doing threats, anybody that's admitting to being involved in shit on social media, especially if you went through no jumper, they may come knocking. And when they come knocking, they're coming knocking with a warrant. Social media has become law enforcement's greatest tool. I keep saying it, man. They don't even need to have gang task force. They just have social media task force. And all these dudes will get their ego in the way and bite that hook if someone like Adam puts the right question out there. That question is the right question for the cops, the wrong question for you. And there's other people that say, man, dudes want to get on there, they should know better. Well, I know when I was growing up, we avoided cameras. Back then, there wasn't video cameras. I'm talking about just a picture. When the cops used to come through in the neighborhoods and they want to take your picture, man, I always turn my head like, you crazy. Fuck, I want you. They try to, put you in the little gang file and the pictures of the neighborhood and the pictures of dudes in the neighborhood. Shit. Fuck, I look like looking at that camera like cheese. No, sir. I'm hoping that people are going to wisen up. I really wish people would just realize that hamster wheel of gangbanging, it gets you nowhere. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am not going to be impressed by which neighborhood is the most run down, which neighborhood produces the most killers. I'm going to be impressed with which hood or which barrio is producing the most doctors, nurses, lawyers, plumbers, carpenters, businessmen. That's impressive to me. I'm telling you, all the years I did behind those walls, there are dudes in prison right now that have been there 30 years, 40 years. And they see youngsters come in, chest out, peacocking, and they're like, look at this fucking idiot, wasted his life. If he's lucky, he'll last 30 years behind those walls. Imagine that being the luckiest thing you can have in your life. To survive 30 years behind the walls. The treachery, the lies, the scheming, the plotting, the politicking. You guys keep fucking with this internet. You guys keep fucking with this social media, trying to be gangsters online. There's real jails waiting for you, man. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.